Good afternoon, boys and girls. It's Friday. Here we are again. We're closing in on the big election, about a week away, and got this last night. Just pan up there and check that out. Trump 2020, no more bullshit, because I've had about enough of that. Tried to watch the big debate last night. My blood pressure went up so high in 5 minutes, I thought I was literally going to have blood start squirting out of my fucking tear ducts. I mean, that dude, let me tell you something. When you lie so much, you're a Democrat, and you lie so much that CNN fact checks your ass, you have really, really turned in a performance there, Joe. I mean, hello. Um, so I wrote down a few things this week that I wanted to talk about because I've been listening to a lot of commercials lately. I mean, this morning I left the house. I had to drive up north to do something, so I left the house and I drove up by Lake Pleasant Parkway in Happy Valley up in that area. Drove up there. I had a little breakfast on the way, got up there, picked up what I needed to get to, and then I got back to the shop across town. So, in the space of about an hour and a half, I heard the Mark Kelly commercial 9 times. 9 times in an hour and a half. And Biden commercials in between all that. And, I don't need to hear Trump's commercials. We've already seen for the last 4 years what that man's capable of. And he kicked his ass for the last four, and he's going to kick his ass again for the next four because, quite frankly, I just don't think Creepy Joe's got a chance. You know. So some of the stuff that I want to talk about, Mark Kelly, he keeps talking about how, both of my parents were police officers, and so I never thought I'd get to man the space shuttle, and I flew 39 missions to win the first Gulf War. Get the fuck out of here! I'm pretty sure there were some other pilots too. I'm not crapping on your service. Don't get me wrong, because I would never do that, but. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm good at a few things too. I'm great at fabricating. I'll build you some shit out of metal you wouldn't believe. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'd be a good president. And quite frankly, a lot of you'd be more pissed off at me than you would be at Trump because there's a lot of shit I wouldn't put up with. I probably wouldn't be very popular as president. I wouldn't want that job. I mean, Jesus, have you seen what that job does to people? It ages you about 20 years. So anyway, Mark Kelly's part of the policy that wants to defund the police. So isn't he kind of crapping on his parents on that deal, and he flew the space shuttle. Ooh, yeah, big fucking deal, so did several other people. Doesn't mean you make a good senator. And, for those of you that would care to check, his TV commercials at the bottom, where it says paid for by MoveOn.org. Well, guess who funds MoveOn.org? That would be our boy George Soros, who, as far as I'm concerned, should be declared a threat to national security and probably be taken out and shot, but that won't ever happen. So let's go over a few things that Joey's been saying on his commercials. If and when they go back to work. That scares me a little. If and when you get to go back to work? I mean, what the hell? He wants to make a nationwide standard mask mandate. But even if he were, by some miracle or a bunch of cheating, he got to be president, that would be clear back at the end of January of next year. He's going to shut the country down again. This dude is dangerous. I mean, I watched, like I said, part of the debate last night. That dude doesn't even know when he's lying anymore. This one almost killed me. He wants to make sure that if and when their parents are allowed to go back to work, that their children will be safe. Let that soak in, marinate for a little bit. Creepy Joe wants to make sure the children are safe. Why? So they're better for sniffing whenever he gets around to them. Jesus. Let me tell you something about Joe and how much he cares about kids, right? Okay, Joe's kid, Hunter Biden. I saw a picture of this bastard last week before they got it scrubbed from the internet somehow. I saw a picture of Hunter Biden, and I'll probably get a lifelong Facebook ban for saying this, but I saw him snorting cocaine off the naked body of an underage Chinese girl. Sex slave, no doubt. You know what? And people keep saying, he's not running for president, his dad is. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the $3.5 million he got from Russia on one of your business deals, Hunter. Let's talk about that. No, we don't want to talk about that? Well, let me tell you this. If Don Jr. or one of Trump's kids had a laptop that popped up that had pictures of him snorting cocaine off an underage naked girl, you can bet your ass that shit would be running on a loop on every news station on the planet right up till past the election. You can bet your ass on it. But it's not. They're covering it up. They buried it everywhere. And anybody that talks about it gets banned. Account scrubbed, gone, That shit should scare even you Democrats. The First Amendment is out the goddamn window. It's gone. We're being censored. We're being manipulated. And you want to talk about election interference? Remove everything from social media that is pro-Trump. Yeah, that's not election interference. Come on. So yeah, let's make sure the children are safe, Joe. That's so creepy when he sniffs them. It's just gross. Apparently, he says he's got real plans. Well, from what I've seen of his plan involves everything that Trump's already done. As far as I know, his plan. And then, just for sport, let's check out another part of his plan. Let's say your house is worth $250,000. According to Joe, I misquoted this last week. They said 2%. Well, this week they're saying 3%. So you take your $250,000 house, you take that 3%, that's $7,500. And we're going to divide that for you by 12. That $625 extra dollars on your mortgage that can go to Joe and Nancy and Chuck and that shit show so that they can blow your money on other crap. I mean, I like my money being spent on infrastructure and all that kind of stuff instead of just funding lazy asses that don't want to work. I mean, there's so much construction going on in Phoenix right now, you can barely drive anywhere, and that only happens when the economy's good and they're paying to fix the roads and stuff. I didn't see any of that shit happening in, I don't know, 08 to 2016. Didn't see any of that. So, Joe's talking about nationwide standards, and he's going to be an American president. That shit makes me laugh. He's a Chinese president is what he is. Look into it. You'll find out. He's going to pull us back together after the season of darkness. Ooh, the season of darkness. So fucking scary. If you listen to this man, it's all doom and gloom, and that piece of shit Obama was out yesterday preaching doom and gloom to about 25 people because that bitch can't even pull a crowd anymore, apparently. Nobody's buying their crap, apparently, except for, I know a few people that were smiling real big that, they voted and all that. Well, I'm going to cancel that shit out when I send mine in. So, actually, I'm going to go hand deliver it to the box because I don't trust the post office. But yeah, Joe, he's going to pull us back together. Well, him and Obama are the ones that pushed us all apart to begin with. They divided us by race, socioeconomic status, which, I know most of you Biden supporters probably can't spell socioeconomic, but whatever. Anyway, I'm sorry, I don't mean to use big words. I know that's racist now from what I understand, so I'll try not to do that too much in the future, but, then the other thing that everybody seems to want to do, because Hillary won the popular vote. Well, no, she didn't really. If you eliminate the 3 million illegals and people that voted in several states, and of course the dead that voted, she didn't even win that. And besides that, if you know anything about American politics, which, most of us are smart enough to know that the Electoral College is there for a reason. But, the funny thing about Democrats is they love the Electoral College as long as it elects a Democrat. But if it elects a Republican, we should go by the popular vote, get rid of that Electoral College, that's bullshit. You got AOC saying that she's never going to let her kids go to the Electoral College because she's kind of a fucktard. We all know that. But so anyway, here's what my biggest problem with eliminating the Electoral College would be that then we don't have a voice anymore because Los Angeles has more population than like 40 something fucking states all by itself. So you take that so Los Angeles and New York and probably Illinois would elect every president in the future. There'd never be another Republican president. The economy would crash. We'd all be eaten out of dumpsters. This is why I don't trust the voters in California and New York. Let me rattle off some names for you. We got Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom. There's some to name a few. Then let's go to the other end of the country. We got, de Blasio and Cuomo. There's a shit show to draw to. Everybody ought to elect somebody like those two assholes. And then you got goddamn Beetlejuice, Lori Lightfoot. They elected her in Chicago. These people don't elect smart people. They elect idiots, apparently. So, no, I'm not leaving those bastards in charge of my future, and I really don't want them in charge of my children's future, even though my children don't know any better than to think it would be good for their future. And my grandchildren, I want them to live in a country that's free and the same opportunities that all of us had. I don't want the socialism thing because, Venezuela thought that was going to be a great idea too, and now they're fighting for food, eating out of dumpsters and getting shot at by the government because they took all their guns. The whole thing is just out of control, people. And, I'll be so glad when the election is over. We can get on to the Civil War and we can shoot all the fucktards and get that over with, because that's probably going to happen, because they're still crying 4 years after Trump got elected the first time. They're probably going to be crying another 4 years. Nancy will probably, I don't know, Nancy will probably try to impeach Trump because he took a crap in the Oval Office bathroom or something and forgot to spray air freshener or something. That's just about how stupid her reasons for, you hurt my feelings. Well, I'm sorry. Feelings aren't protected under the Constitution of the United States, Nancy, so suck it up. I don't know. I could go on and on. It's just been ridiculous. I just want to be able to sit down and watch TV without it pissing me off. I'm just tired of it. And the lies, like I said, you get fact checked by CNN and you're a Democrat, you really told some whoppers. And Joe was stupid enough to tell Trump to prove that he said that he was going to eliminate fracking. Trump's team was on that shit. They put the video up like immediately. Joe looked like an ass so many times last night that it's ridiculous. So I really don't think the old man's got a chance, and I don't really think he's actually who they're running for president anyway. We know what's going to happen with that. But anyway, I digress. I got a lot of stuff to do. Me and the lovely wife are celebrating our 10th anniversary tomorrow. We're having some people over. It's going to be a good time. It's the 10th anniversary of the day we met. Both of us forgot our wedding anniversary last year because that's not as important of a date to us as our very first date, which was kind of fun. She still says that was the angriest date she's ever been on, because I basically just threw the shit on the table and said, look, this is me. And this is some shit up with which I will not put. I've been through all this crap before, and, I found her on Match.com and she found me, and it's worked out great. And, the thing about those dating sites is they ask you to list what you want. Well, last time I listed what I want, we all know how that shit worked out. So this time I went the other way. I listed what I don't want. That was a lot easier. Cheaters, liars, manipulators, people that borrow $10,000 without me knowing about it, ruin my credit, that kind of shit. I don't need any of that. So no, I don't want to do that. I want to hike a mountain every morning. I don't want to take you to San Diego every other weekend. I can't be your sugar daddy, and basically that kind of thing. And she loved it, and I love her, and we've been together for, 10 years tomorrow. So it's been kind of a beautiful ride. So we're going to have a little celebration tomorrow night, and it's going to be fun. So anyway, you guys have a good weekend. Those of you that are watching this that are going to be at the party, I'll see you tomorrow night. And the rest of you, you'll be with us in spirit. So you guys have a great weekend, and make the smart vote. Last week I told you to do something for me. When you're in the voting booth, it's just you and God. Nobody knows who you're going to check mark that box. Do the right thing, but make that check mark for America right there. Put that in the box. All right, I'm out, guys. See you next week.